what was it that you were seeing that you were like, this doesn't feel right to me? Was it just a health issue? Was it because of the body image things coming up? Or did you just feel like looking at it, it's like, I think that this is just not somehow feeling good to me to put this out there in the world? Because again, you say to people, I'm vegan, and they're like, oh, I couldn't give up dairy. I couldn't give up butter. I mean, what is
Yeah.
it with butter?
Yeah. I have lived in a larger body my entire life. And in culinary school, we actually didn't call it the freshman 15. We called it the freshman 50. We were constantly being given food. I actually made a little bit of money sewing buttons back onto people's clothes, kind of like adding pieces of fabric and stuff to things. And it was just the amount of food I was eating, and then also just how heavy and how greasy everything was. My history of depression and mental illness really just it culminated into me kind of almost being like a zombie a lot of the time. And a lot of that was my mental health, but the food that I was eating wasn't helping. I have tendonitis in my knee and my wrist, and it was in culinary school and in the culinary field that I've been in for over 15 years now. It's a very physically demanding job, and when we're on our feet for between 8 and 14 hours a day, sometimes that all adds up. And it was just the animal products. As soon as I let them go and I stopped eating them, my tendonitis, my inflammation went down, and I could feel like I could finally get a handle on my mental health, where I felt like I could start taking steps outside of just diet to kind of reclaiming that and getting more coping mechanisms and things like that going. So it was kind of like a fog had lifted when I went plant-based.
I completely understand that. So when you launched your cooking classes, did you go right into vegan cooking, or had you started, with traditional cooking?
Yeah. I started my business teaching cooking classes because I had went vegan, and I noticed that there were not a lot of spaces that were teaching very fundamental plant-based cooking techniques, ways to incorporate plant-based eating, especially in a judgment-free space. A lot of people, when they hear the word vegan or they hear a vegan cooking class or anything like that, they're expecting, people to go on about animal agriculture and all the detriments. And of course, I can do that if people ask. But predominantly, my goal has been, this whole time I've had my business, is getting people introduced and used to the idea that plant-based food is delicious. It deserves to be extolled the way we extol Korean food now. That's trending a lot. Japanese food, Indian food, Italian, French. It's a style of cooking that deserves a place at anybody's table, regardless of how you identify.
I like how you put that it's a style of cooking along the lines of like, hey, like a Korean food or a Japanese food or, Italian food, like consider it like a style instead of like a judgment. Cause you're right. I get the same thing when I tell people I'm vegan. They, get a little, you can feel them sit back a little. They're waiting to be judged. And I don't verbally judge them, but I am judging you in my head. I'm telling you right now, people, I am. And it is my lifelong mission to convert everyone I meet. But you know what? They're not all listening to this podcast, so they don't know what I'm secretly up to. But with that said, there are just so many benefits to cutting out animal products and animal derived products from your diet that, I think it just takes a little bit of an open mind and a willingness to try new things for all of those people that are all into the, trying exotic, weird foods that they would never, try before. It's like, I think opening your mind to this also could be eye-opening and stomach opening for many people. Palate opening, that's a better word. Okay, so I think you're exactly right. So when you launched the cooking classes then, what kind of feedback were you getting from the people, that were coming to them? Were they people that were interested in plant-based lifestyles, or was it simply, again, like maybe people who were just into discovering exploration? And then the next iteration of that, creating your own cheese line, how did that come about?
Yeah, so my goal was always to reach people that were on the fence of that plant-based vegan threshold. When I started teaching my cooking classes, it was actually mostly vegans who were coming, which was fine because I was like, cool, I get to practice on you guys, and you guys are a little bit more forgiving. Um, and then when I started making cheese, that's kind of when more people who were not, who didn't identify as vegan or plant-based started really buying into what I was doing because before when I was teaching classes, I was like, "You're just gonna have to trust me that I know what I'm doing." And then with the cheese put in front of them, they're like, "Oh, I can actually trust you know what you're doing because I can taste it and this is really good. And yeah, I want to learn more." So it turned into, me transitioning my business really helped fulfill my mission that I started my business with, which was to get people on the fence to start eating more plant-based food.